Hey. Urban Politics, another rousing episode of Urban Politics. Thank you for coming here and spending a little time with me. I am your humble host, Phys Ed Music. I want to get right into it like a car and drive. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, whole bunch of things going on. Let me go ahead and get started. Number one, I want to talk about QAnon and QAnon members. Now, I've talked about QAnon on the show. Some of you all might not be familiar with that. I would just, at this point, I would just say go Google it. Go Google it, and you can fall down that rat hole on your own. I've been down it, and I don't want to go down it anymore. I've seen enough, and I've heard enough from these people. And the fact that two of them are in Congress, we're going to talk about that later on, but the fact that two of them are in Congress should give all of us pause and make everyone scared and disgusted and sick. So it is what it is. Yeah, so there's that. Their members have been going nuts. I guess really it's granted they should be going nuts. All the things that they were promised, none of it came to fruition. Trump was supposed to arrest, but these are the things that they thought was going to happen. They thought that Joe Biden was going to be poised to be inaugurated as president, but before that could happen, Trump was supposed to swoop in, and he was supposed to arrest the Democrats and put them on trial. He was supposed to get help from the National Guard to do this. It was supposed to be televised. All of this was supposed to happen because, remember, the Dems and Hollywood elites have been killing babies, molesting kids, and drinking their blood. I'm not making this up. I wish I were. This is what these people really believe. They believe that Hillary Clinton and George Soros and other people have been doing this. They've been molesting babies and drinking their blood because somehow they get their energy or whatever from drinking the blood of these babies. Okay. One member of QAnon even said it best. Here's what they said. They said, we were promised arrest, exposures, military regimes, classified documents. Where is it? They salty right now. That is the reason you saw all these people storming the Capitol. They were promised all of this. There are some of them who really believe this. As I sit here and I say it to you, I think it's the wildest, craziest, most bananas, most nuttiest, most bat crazy thing I've ever heard in my life. But these people are they're sold on this. They believe it. They believe it to be true. And when it didn't happen, now they're like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? He just got on a plane and went to Mar-a-Lago. Nobody got arrested. None of this happened. So some of these people are really just twisting in the wind right now. They don't know what to do. They don't know what's going on. You know, so that's why you saw all this. Think about it too. This is some pretty out there stuff. If you really believe this, I mean, there was a guy on TikTok, it was funny because he was just saying all these beliefs, but he was doing it like the parallel with himself, talking to himself, and he was like, yeah, QAnon's doing all this stuff. Yeah, but we're the only ones who know it. Yeah. And the police haven't done anything about it. Yeah. It's just us. Yeah. I mean, in a sane mind, this doesn't make any sense. But you got to take yourself out of your sane mind and put yourself into the mind of a trumpeter. Put yourself into the mind of a person who is drinking that Kool-Aid. Okay? They are in that cult. You're in that cult. You're submerged in this echo chamber of Fox and ONN and some of these other conservative outlets, and they're pumping this to you all day. You'd start believing it. You know, and these people, they're eating it up. They're believing it like it's gospel. They did anyway. And when it, like I said, didn't come to fruition, they don't know what to do. They twisted in the wind. They don't know what to do with themselves. You know, they're like, well, hold up. So what's the next step? What's really going on? Was this true? Is it not true? And they were saying it's easier for a person to get more entrenched in a crazy belief than for you to pull them out of it. So right now, with all this going on, you've had a lot of liberals. You've had a lot of other people being like, okay, QAnon people, this should be the wake-up call. None of that stuff happened. We told you none of it would happen. None of it happened. But there's still some of them on like, oh, but there's something else going on now. And there's some other conspiracy theories that lend to why this conspiracy theory didn't work and it wasn't true. That's the nature of a cult. I gotta tell you, and that's the thing, when you read all these articles talking about, oh, this is the end of the Republican Party, end of the Republican Party. I knew it wasn't the end of the Republican Party because for every conspiracy theory, there's another one. So when this one gets disproven, there's another one to pop up. And then this other one is also going to make some allowances of why this one was disproven. And it just keeps going on. It's never going to stop. You know, these people are looking for something to blame their problems on. And QAnon gives them that. You know, it gives them a secret cabal that's eating babies. It gives them all of that. So as sad as that is, it's not going anywhere. Like I said, two of them are in Congress. We'll talk about it. But it's pretty sad, pretty pathetic. Moving on. I want to talk about something that I'm sure you've probably never heard of. Never heard of. A young black girl on TikTok, she hipped me to it. The New York City draft riots of 1863. In 1863, there was an all-white mob of working class men who went around New York terrorizing people. They were anti-black, they were anti-rich, and they were anti-Republican. That's interesting. They burned down they burned down a black orphanage. They killed any person of color, any black person they came across on the street. After 4 days of debauchery, they were stopped by Union troops returning from Gettysburg. 400 black people died in these riots. I bring that up, and that whole thing that I talked about, please go Google that and get your own education on that. It's the New York City draft riots of 1863. I bring that up to say that we've been here before, America. We've dealt with this before. There's always been that group of white guys who feel slighted by rich people, by Republicans, that blows me away, by people of color, people who don't look like them, and feel like they got to take that violence out on them, and then that's going to be the answer to their problems. It's sad because, people do this, these people do this, and it doesn't change anything. Nothing doesn't change. The point of them making sure that they still inaugurated Joe Biden, or the point of them making sure that they still certified his votes on January 5th, that was the point of it. To say that you can do all this to stop democracy, it rolls on. No human being can stop democracy. No human being can stop this wheel. And if you know like I know, you would have known that's how that goes. That is true. That's democracy. You can't stop it, I can't stop it. There's people who've died trying to stop it, and they might hold it up a little, but they can't stop it, can they? That wheel keeps on moving. So these people found that out the hard way, and they got to be salty because all that, it changed nothing. All that happened is a lot of people are going to jail. A lot of people have lost their businesses. That's it. A lot of people have embarrassed themselves in front of their friends and their families. That's all this happened with that riot. That's it. What? They ran up in the Capitol building. They pooped in the Capitol building. They peed in the Capitol building. Well, that stuff comes up. I don't know what to tell you. Pooper scooper, you get that, you get it off the floor. I've cleaned it up myself in my day. It's not hard to do. You do it and you move on. So they did all that stuff and it meant nothing. Joe Biden is still president. Kamala Harris is still vice president. Democracy rages on and you can't stop it. So that's got to be eating them up inside. So that's why you're seeing all of this. That's why you're seeing the animus with the QAnon members. That's why you even see QAnon being a thing. Anyway, that animus has always been here in this country. And until we get the powers that be to understand, like some of the rest of us understand, that people who look like you can still hurt you. People who look like you can still come to kill you. People who look like you can still try to stop this thing that they claim to hold sacred, democracy. That's real. And they need to get hip to that. So until America gets hip to that, we're going to have these problems, but they're going to have to get hip to it. Because why? People are getting hurt. People are dying. 5 people died at the Capitol building. I don't think one of them was of color. I'm just saying. Not a one. Just saying. So there's that. You see what I'm saying? So something's got to give. Something's got to happen. But we definitely can learn from history. Now, I've never heard this story before. I'm 44 years old. I've never heard about the New York City draft riots of 1863. Why? We hide history like this because it's embarrassing. This isn't cool. This is terrible. This is horrible. As a country, we don't want to talk about this. We want to believe that we're so progressive and we had a black president. We're so progressive in this country. No, we're not. And we haven't dealt with any of this, and we haven't talked about it, and we haven't shared this information. And if we do not study our history, we're what? Doomed to repeat it. So then we're doomed to repeat this. Because some people are too scared or too fragile to deal with this. It happened. Let's deal with it. Let's talk about it. Let's work through it. Let's get past it. Anyway, moving on. Now let's talk about our crazy QAnon members. We got a couple of kooks. Got some brand new kooks in the Senate. Let's start with the first one. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe you've heard of her. She's been making the news lately. She wearing the face mask and stuff, talking about Trump won and all this other crap. She's a kook. She's a crazy person. She's a QAnon member. Supports the riots at the Capitol. and equates it to BLM. Says all summer BLM was burning down stuff in Oregon and all that stuff and nobody cared, but now they want to say something about the riots at the Capitol, blah, blah, blah. And once again, I get sick of people drawing that false equivalence because I've already said it. Hey, at least when people are burning down buildings and stuff, holding Black Lives Matter posters up, it's because someone has died. The police have taken another black life. Okay, there was bloodshed, or at least somebody got hurt or injured. Usually, that's when at least we're happy about that. And brother or sister, they got shot, they didn't get killed. They're just paralyzed for life, or now they got some bullet holes for life. But most times, a person dies, and that's the reason you have people burning down buildings. And I'm sorry, I think that's warranted. I don't care about people burning down the building and a life has been lost. We need to deal with that. And the fact that they chose to burn down that building to shed a light on this life that's been lost, well, kudos to them. So there's that. So she does that garbage. Anyway, harassing school shooting survivors. Are you serious? Yes. Parkland survivor, I forget his name. You've seen the young man. He's like the face of, ending gun violence and stuff. There's videos. Google all this. You can Google all this if you haven't already seen it. And she's like chasing him while he's walking around, the Capitol talking to senators and stuff, trying to get some movement on this gun reform thing. And she's like, you're an actor and this and that, and I'm a citizen, and I have a gun on me right now for protection, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, she's just harassing the young man. I'm like, serious? What kind of human piece of garbage are you that you harass a young man who's already lost friends? He's lost friends. His classmates died one day. They all went to school and they died. He made it out, but a lot of them didn't because somebody else he went to school with got on one day and wanted to bring a peace to school and murder some folk. She chooses to follow this young man around, talking smack. They crazy on the right. And that's some of that crazy madness, that QAnon madness, claiming that these kids were all actors and that didn't happen. Why would someone lie about that? Why would someone, and I have said that to conservatives, why would someone lie about their baby being gunned down at school? Who would joke about that or make a lie about that? Oh, well, when, people have different ideologies, and when people have the ideology that guns are bad, they'll do anything or say anything to get rid of it. Nah, man. No one's doing that, okay? No one's doing that. I've been a parent. I am a parent a couple times over. No one's doing that. No one is telling their child to go away and lay low while I lie to these people and tell them that you got hurt in a school shooting massacre just so we can get rid of, or just so we can keep our guns or get rid of guns. That is ridiculous. But some of them believe this madness, and she's one of the people who perpetuate this madness. So, oh well. Then she was caught on camera yelling back and forth with different people that she works with. There's a sister that she works with who said she wanted her office moved from this lady because this lady's a trip and a hazard. She was on the house floor talking about something, but she ain't even have her mask on. Old girl's like yelling at her, say, hey, put that mask on. You know the rules around here. We're all to be wearing our masks, especially if you're in that gallery down there or whatever. She yelled back at her, how about not yelling at your coworkers, blah, blah. Then she's on the camera. This is what we're going through. This is what we have to go through. She's a joke. It's pathetic is what it is. It's really pathetic. And it's sad that they let her up in there. You want to talk about sleeping with the enemy. You already know these people are crazy. We already talked about what they believe. But then you let them get up in Congress. Now, there's a lot of people who are calling for her to lose her seat. Let's see where that goes. AOC, I say it all the time. Let me go ahead and just give her some props right here on the show. I love AOC. She's one of the few people over there with any cojones to do something about things. If you see something, say something. She's one of the few people to come out and say, hey, I'm not even going to lie. I don't necessarily even feel safe coming here to the floor of Congress. I got co-workers who want to bring guns on the floor, who get upset when we talk about putting metal detectors at the door, which we obviously need to do. We got people like this next lady I'm about to talk about, Miss Boebert, who wants to bring her piece on the floor, tried to bring her piece on the floor of Congress. What is this? What do they think this is? This is not the Wild Wild West. This is America, okay? And that is the floor of Congress. Why do you think you'd be able to bring your piece to the floor of Congress? I'm telling you, these people, they're conservative, they're ghetto is what they are. They're ghetto and they're common and classless. This lady, if you haven't heard of her, get hit to her. Lauren Boebert. She's pro-freedom. That sounds good. Pro guns, okay, and pro constitution. Now, my whole thing is that last piece should go without saying. If you're in government, a senator no less, obviously you're pro constitution. If you're not, why are you there? But anyway, she claims she's pro freedom, pro guns, pro constitution. She gave a tour before the Capitol riots, but it's unclear if the people she gave that tour to had anything to do with the riots. People just said that was a little strange. But they did say the people that she was giving a tour were like family members and people who were just happy that she had that new position, that new job, and she wanted to just show them the Capitol on some sightseeing and stuff. So there's that. I don't think they found any proof to say that she knew anybody or whatever who was at the Capitol riots, or she had anything, or any of the people in that tour had anything to do with that. So I gotta give that as a disclaimer, but there's that. She tried to bring a Glock onto the House floor. Who does that? Really? You gonna bring your unit onto the House floor? So what? So somebody can say something you don't like and you can upheat in the middle of legislation? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, man. This ain't America. That's why I said these people are ghetto. What kind of hood stuff is this? You want to bring your piece on the floor of Congress? What is that? This is not the Wild Wild West. This is not the hood. This is not Livingston. You ain't gonna just bring your gun up in here while we doing the people's business in the state capitol. Ain't that something? Also, of course, she's in that mix too. Harassing Parkland school shooting survivor. Same guy I was talking about. I think his name is David Hogg. And she's done it too. Just harassing the guy, claiming that he's fake, claiming that he's paid by somebody to do this, claiming that those kids who died didn't really die. That's ridiculous. And like, I seen him in an interview and he said, really, if I'm getting paid for this, he said, well, there's somebody show me where the money's at. He said, because right now I could use that to pay for school. I ain't got no way to pay. I'm trying to go through school right now. I'm broke. Can't even do it. If I'm getting money from that, can I get that money so I can pay for school, or maybe pay for this grad school I'm trying to get into? So there it is, man. These people need to get lives. It's ridiculous. Alex Jones, he's another idiot who perpetuates this garbage. That's why he ended up losing his show, or at least getting it kicked off of a lot of platforms, because this is ridiculous, man. Some of these kids, some of these people who lost kids in this shooting have had to change their addresses. They've had to leave where they live because you have idiots like this Boebert lady and this other lady and Alex Jones pumping up the myth that this was all a hoax and all faked and all just a big thing to get people to or help the government take people's guns away. Now they got to move away from their home because they getting harassed, they getting death threats, and they lost their child, and they got to deal with that. So that's ridiculous. It's pathetic. The right, they need to get off it, man. I understand that y'all are all about winning elections or trying to, your positions are unpopular. So y'all get into bed with people like this. Why? Because they get votes. Why are Republicans even putting up with QAnon? Because they get votes. Because they get votes. I'm telling you, man, the GOP are really they're sluts. They just want those votes. They'll do whatever for those votes. They'll say whatever for those votes. They'll go wherever for those votes. They just want the votes. They're unscrupulous. And that's what's going on. So now they've gotten into bed with these QAnon people who want to bring guns on the House floor. And that's what they don't understand. You do this, you can be the target as well. When those people were going in to the Capitol on January 5th, what were they screaming? Hang Pence. Hang Pence. They wanted beef with Nancy Pelosi too. But what were they screaming? Hang Pence. Hang Pence. Last I checked, he's a Republican vice president. You better get hip. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about another human piece of garbage. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says all Americans bear some responsibility for the Trump riots. What? What? Let me say that again. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says all Americans bear some responsibility for the insurrection that happened January 5th. I call it the Trump riots because that's what it is. And that's what it always be here on Urban Politics. This guy's delusional. And that's what the GOP wants to do. And that's what they always do. If someone didn't know, let me diffuse it to you, it's your fault. You're the liar. You're the one who did such and such. Oh, so it's not on us. It's on all of America. Nah, Kevin. All of America didn't do this. Y'all did this. Y'all did this. Josh Hawley did this. Ted Cruz did this. Louis Gohmert did this. There's a laundry list of you idiots who did this. You perpetuated this garbage. People believed it. And then they got mad when you couldn't deliver. And they came in there for your head. And it happened again because they face no retribution, right? Some of these people, luckily they face retribution through the law. But your party, it won't even step up and hold the standard bearer accountable. That is sad. I don't know what to call y'all. I don't know, and we'll get into that later, but, you know, I don't even know what to call these guys. So, you know, he has the nerve to say that. That blows me away. I'm like, nah, Kevin, you can't shift the blame to us. This is all y'all. This is y'all did this. You all did this. And y'all could have stopped it in its tracks. That's what needs to happen right now. Some real life Republican leadership needs to step up and say, hey, look, hold up. This is not how this game is played. And this is not what we're doing here. And this is my party, the GOP, and I care about it. So if you are down with the GOP, you step over here. If you're not, you can go over there with the trumpeters. But that hasn't happened, and it probably won't happen because these leaders, they're weak, they're feckless, they're beta males, they're subs, and really they're scared is what they are. They're battered spouses. That's what's going on here. All these Republicans, they're battered spouses. I'll get into that a little bit later on. Lindsey Graham is going to says that the GOP can't win back the House and the Senate without Trump. I think he's right about that, but how about this? I go on record as saying I don't think y'all ever gonna win back the House and the Senate. Just saying. Y'all gotta harbor hope because that's y'all's party, but y'all have done a lot of damage to that party. Y'all have let Trump do a lot of damage to that party. When they talk to 50% of people 25 and under who are of voting age, and they say that they don't identify as Republicans and they don't want to be Republicans, already, man, you set the tone for the future of your party. There is no future of your party. The Republican Party looks good just being a regional party. It's just going to be a party of the South. And I've said that on this show before. We're moving there. They're moving there. It's not going to be a quick thing, but as you see, it's happening. It's happening. They lost the Senate. They lost the House a while ago in 2018. Lost the House in a big way. I mean, come on, remember they called that the blue wave. They lost the House. Recently, they've lost the Senate. And they lost the executive. You know, Mr. Biden is in there right now. So we'll see if they get any of that back. I would doubt it. They've really acted a monkey with the power that they had, and they really should not let Trump get in there. The stink that he's left on their party is going to be with them for a long time. So that is what it is. Lindsey Graham, of course, he supports prosecuting all who breached the Capitol, but not impeachment. Here's a guy who was just on the House floor talking about how he was done with Trump and, oh yeah, me and Trump have had a hell of a ride and blah, 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 blah. And now, you know, overnight he flips because he's weak, he's feckless, like I said, he's a beta male. For whatever reason, the LGBTQ community calls him Lady G. I don't know what that's about, but Lady G need to get it together, man, and form a backbone, grow some cojones, step up. Here's the thing, though. The GOP, they expanded their governorships to 27, and they control 60% of state legislative chambers. All that is saying is what I say on this show all the time. I got it from Chris Matthews and a few other great pundits. All politics is local. All politics is local. It's cool. And I used to say that too when Barack Obama was president. Who cares? If you have a Democratic president, if you have all these Republican governors, if you have all these Republican mayors, all politics is local, you know? And it's interesting because most people don't pay attention to local politics. Most people, if I go out there and ask them who's our governor, they couldn't tell me. Most people, if I go out there and ask them who's the mayor, they couldn't tell me. But they know who the president is. People are always looking at that horse race. I understand that. They put a lot of money into that horse race. And there's a lot of fanfare that's around being president. I get it. But really, if you really want to understand this politics thing, if you really want to see how it affects you directly, get into local politics. That's where the game is. That's where it's at. And the Republicans, they know this. They've always known this. That's the reason why they expand those governorships. That's the reason why 60% of the state legislative chambers they got. I think I'm sure our state legislature here in Ohio is ran by Republicans. I'm sure they have control of that house. I'm positive of it. You know, they always do. And this is Ohio. It's a very conservative state. So my point is, Republicans, so good at the game of politics. They're horrible people sometimes, snake oil salesmen, but they're really good at the game of politics, and they usually pay it better than Democrats. So Democrats need to step their game up, and right now, once again, y'all got the trifecta. Not we, I'm an independent. Y'all got the trifecta. Y'all have the House, y'all have the Senate, y'all have the executive. What you gonna do? But we're gonna talk about it in a minute, because Joseph Biden, he is doing some huge stuff with all of that power. So there's that. But hold up. My last point, as far as the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy and these Republicans go, they say 30,000 people have left the Republican Party. Only 5 Senate Republicans voted for impeachment. Wow. Okay, well, let's deal with that first thing right there. 30,000 people have left the Republican Party. I believe it. There's plenty of people who were repping Republican yesterday who ain't repping it today. That party has just done too much with the racist stuff and the misogynistic stuff and the stuff of being disrespectful to people with disabilities and all of that. It's just been too much. So there's that. Only 5 Republican senators voted for impeachment. Why? Because they scared. They think they might get hurt. They might get hurt. They probably should back off of it. I don't agree with that. They should grow some backbones, grow some cojones, step up, and impeach the man who tried to get them killed. He tried to get you killed. He sent people to your job to murk you. Hold that man accountable, man. Fill out a police report, GOP senators. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Joseph Biden real quick, because my time is drawing nigh and I still need to talk about my IPA. But check this out. Joseph Biden rushing. He wants to get Harriet Tubman on the 20 yesterday. I've always went on record in this show as saying that. Get Harriet Tubman on the 20. Do it like yesterday. She's a real life superhero. I have yet to hear about anything doing anything better than that sister did. Running back and getting people out of slavery a whole bunch of times after you done invaded it. Give her love, give her her due, give her her honor, put her on the 20, do it yesterday. And Joe Biden actually talked about it and said he's going to get it done. I like that in him. Already signed almost 30 executive orders overturning Trump's messes. So a lot of people come at me, they're like, oh, everybody talking about buying this, buying that. Listen, I go on record, I just said it a minute ago, I'm going to say it again. I am not a Democrat. I am an independent. But listen, when we ask this guy to make moves and he's making them, I pay attention. Okay, I pay attention, sir, ma'am. If you paying attention, you got to get this guy's props, okay? Because he went in there and immediately he started overturning that demon's garbage. Give him some peas for that. You asked for it, he did it. People wanted more diversity, he went and got a Native American sister. He went and got Angela Rice. He's done it. You wanted it, he's done it. Joe Biden, that's that dude. So once again, I'm becoming a Biden fan, as you can see, because he's doing it, man. The proof is in the pudding, and the pudding is tasting real good right now. Anyway, off rip, here's another thing that got the man, I'm all over him for this. Draws a distinction off rip between him and Trump. Immediately says, if I hear of anyone being rude or mean, I'm paraphrasing, but you all have seen it on the internet, being rude or mean to others, I will fire you on the spot. On the spot. He said, I'm serious with this. He says, it's not a joke. If I hear about you being mean or rude to anyone, I will fire you on the spot. And he said, now this part, he said, no tolerance for such behavior has been missing the last 4 years. I agree. He just said it perfectly right there. He just said it perfectly. No tolerance for such behavior that's been missing the past 4 years. So I like how he drew that distinction between him and Trump off rip. He said that dude got into belittling people. He got into being a jerk. He got into rewarding others who were jerks and belittle people. I'll fire you on the spot. I'm about respecting people around here. We're going to respect each other and we're going to get the job done. You got to give him props for that, man. Give him some props for that. Okay, so here it is. I got just a little bit of time. It is time to talk about the IPA of the day. Or actually, it'll be, I guess you could call it my IPA brew review of the week. This right here is something delicious. It's great. It's called Elvis Juice. I love this IPA right here. You can usually get it in the hood. It is, I don't want to lie to you, it's 6.5% alcohol. Delicious. That is good stuff. I'm joking. It's not even in there. I actually poured it in a nice glass today so I can really get the full effect. But that Elvis juice is the bomb. If you got some money in your pocket and you want to drink something that tastes really good, the can used to look different than this. So make sure that you remember it's from Brewdog and it's called Elvis juice. So remember the name because you might see it in a different type of can. They changed the can up not too long ago. But it's a delicious brew, and it has kind of like a citrus kick in the end. It has I think it's grapefruit. Yes, it's infused with grapefruit. So yes, grapefruit infused IPA. So you get kind of that kick at the end when you're drinking it, and it is delightful. It's lovely. What can I say? Once again, my time is drawn nigh. Urban Politics, we're in the building. We'll do it again next week, right here where politics lives. Once again, see you around like a donut.